Welcome back to the Cartoon History Channel, and this is Facts Friday 107, and this is retro references in 90s and 2000s cartoons. My first reference that I'm going to talk about is Season 1, Segment 3 from Episode 7 of Dexter's Lab, and this is a reference to the movie Tron. Dexter's dad gives him a video game in this segment called Game Over. And it's called Master Computer. Master Computer is the game, but also the boss of the game. And where it is like Tron is it takes him into the cyberspace and inside the video game where he's got to fight the Master Computer, which is also a reference to the boss in the Tron movie. The next 90s show with retro references I'm going to talk about are Johnny Bravo and the references to the Twilight Zone. One segment was called Johnny Real Good, which is a reference to It's a Good Life. One episode was called Little Talkie Tabitha, which is a reference to the living doll. And one episode is about the Nightmare on 20,000 Feet. Except it's about a clown instead of a gremlin on the side of the plane. It even has a twist ending with the clown that he defeats in the segment being a crucial part. Instead of tearing apart the plane, it's being a crucial part of controlling the plane and how they land. That one is called The Man Who Cried Clown. Another retro reference in Johnny Bravo is The Sensitive Male, which is a parody of the 1970s animated educational edutainment series called Schoolhouse Rock. And it even had Jack Sheldon, one of the singers from Schoolhouse Rock, voice the titular Sensitive Male. Another retro reference was Bravo Dooby Doo. Not only was this a reference to Scooby-Doo, but it had three of the famous voices from the original Scooby-Doo lineup. Heather North is Daphne. One of her final times is Daphne. Frank Welker, as always, as Fred. And Casey Kasem as Shaggy. Another classic retro reference is in the episode of Angry Beavers called Beaver Fever, where they are made into disco stars singing the titular song Beaver Fever. It's not a cartoon reference to a 70s cartoon, but more of just a reference to disco itself of the time. Another classic example of a 90s cartoon that took something from the past and put it into the present, at least in the 90s and early 2000s timeline, was Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It took the 60s and 70s Space Ghost and made it into a modern, late-night, adult-themed cartoon talk show. One of the best animated retro parody cartoons is Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, which parodied the 50s, 60s, and 70s predominantly Hanna-Barbera cartoons in supposed legal trouble, and Birdman was going to be the defense attorney. It had the Jetsons, it had Yogi Bear, it had Shaggy and Scooby. It had all of the classics doing some sort of goofy thing. It was one of the original cartoons, part of Cartoon Network's Adult Swim cartoons. Remember the Woodstock reference in Hey Arnold? Arnold says to Phil, his grandpa, "You still have plenty of brain cells." And he says, "Not since Woodstock." That was a 1969 reference. Join me next time for Facts Friday 108, and tell me in the comments what you want to do for the next topic. And as always, I'm leaving it up to you, so vote on the best topic, and I'll do the most popular one. And if you want to see me again every Friday and Saturday at 3. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you always get the notification every time I upload at 3 on Friday and Saturday.